Hi guys, good evening. Good evening. Don't ask me why I'm so excited. If you are not just recovering from the 2-day holiday and you're in this country, please don't even ask me why I'm excited. If you're not in Nigeria, well, I'm in Nigeria and we just finished 2 days free holiday. So I am really, really excited. Awesome. Now let me type out our question for tonight, our class topic for tonight. Um, what's the shortest way to ask that question? Let's say frequently, frequently. Hi, Queen. Thanks for joining. Frequently asked. Hi, Dinyambe and Adolf. Hi. Ask questions. I'm typing out the questions and I'm trying to find the shortest way. Frequently asked fellowship questions, I guess. So I'm trying to find the shortest way to type. Hi, Rola, you're even on holiday. Welcome, welcome, welcome. I needed this rest. I was sleeping. I didn't even think of anybody. Frequently asked fellowship questions. I think I'll just leave it at that because it's quite long. Hi from Zambia. Thanks a lot for letting me know. Guys, if you're from other parts of the country, please let me know. Fellowship questions. I wanted to play music, but I wasn't sure if Instagram, they have this new policy now with copyright music. So I wasn't sure if so they don't now ban my video. After all this efforts, my video will now not save. You people will now say, this girl did not save this video. Hi guys. I'm so excited. Yes, and I'm so prepared. If you leave this class, you are going to miss a lot. Hi, Aisha. Hope you're resting. Are you seeing? All the bags under my eyes have disappeared. I've been sleeping. I hope you have been sleeping. MC Chikaka, thanks for joining. I'm waving right back. Guys, now I always give people like 1 more minute to join. 7:05 and we start. 7:05 and we start. You know me, I'm nice like that. I'm nice like that. Anybody who did not rest during this holiday, you need to go back to Monday and go and sleep round 2. Oh my days. Hi guys. 1 more minute to 7:05. Pende, you rested a bit. Me, I didn't rest a bit. Didn't notice I didn't say anything in our inner circle group. I was resting, like literally resting. Mind, body, I was just like fully rested. Rolaya, don't even chip in any conversation here because they're not in this country. So I don't want to see your posts. Don't say anything in this in this video when you didn't take us with you, please. 7:05, guys. Awesome. So my laptop isn't charging. Give me 1 minute so that my presentation doesn't disappear. Time don't come, Hi. Good evening, guys. It's 7:05 and I'm starting. That's the time I always start. Thank you all so much for joining in class today. Let me start off with a bit of introduction for those who don't know me and you're just seeing this face for the first time. My name is Swot, and I'm privileged to be the founder here at Donors for Africa. Literally, we work with a pool of development professionals, development organizations to achieve the SDGs. And for us, this is our way of addressing global issues. This is our way of fighting poverty at the global and the local level by providing technical expertise to non-profit organizations, social impact organizations, for-profit businesses, impact investors, philanthropy organizations, donor organizations. This is how we are working. We provide technical expertise on literally everything from board management to organizational management to leadership management for nonprofit leaders, name it. We're your go-to organization for everything social impact investment. In fact, to simply crown summarize everything we do, we prepare you and your organization for potential funding opportunities, and then we now match you to these opportunities when they become available. It's not an easy process. The part B of our work is still ongoing, but we are really, really hopeful that later in August we're going to make an announcement. Hi, Ifeoluwa, thanks for joining. We need to sort you out. We haven't sorted you out. We need to sort you out. By August, sometime, maybe Monday, let's push for Monday, we'll be making our big announcement. And hopefully by next year, we would go fully into fundraising and matching funds and matching ideas. Awesome, guys. So tonight, if you've been following our series, tonight we want to talk about fellowship applications. We've been doing a series on fellowship applications because when people ask about funding, this is also one of the key criteria that can also help you access funding. So we decided that, all those random questions that we keep addressing, let us address them at the same time. So the essence of our class tonight is to answer or respond or show you how to respond to fellowship questions, how to respond to your fellowship questions in your applications. There are some questions that are like consistent. You see them all the time. So I'm going to give an example of such questions. 1 minute. You know me, my system is always open. So things like, why are you the best? Why should you be selected for this fellowship program? They ask you things like, who are your beneficiaries? Hi, Dovent, Nigeria, thanks for joining. They ask you, share an experience with us where you maybe exemplified or you showed us some of the. Thank you guys so much for joining. Thank you all. Hi guys. I wanted to quickly mention something. So Mohammed Balogu is on this call. Please check him out later after our class. His daughter is currently undergoing surgery and he needs our support. He needs our help. She's a 4-month-old baby and it's a very sad story. Please check out his page. I've asked him to do like a short story so that we can have something to circulate that can probably aid their fundraising effort. So please check Mr. Hamed Balogu at Mr. Hamed Balogu right after this call. Awesome, guys. So let's quickly dive into our conversation for today. Sorry for digressing. I just wanted to mention it so I don't forget. So there are certain questions that they would ask you over and over and over again. And these questions, people don't understand that it can influence the responses that you get in the course of your application. So I know some of you might be asking me, what qualifies you to sit here and talk to us about fellowship questions, because we are all Nigerians. I'll ask the same questions, so no offense taken. Let me just give a bit of a background on myself and on my work. So my very first fellowship program I accessed, I think at the age of 16. It was the Olusegun Obasanjo Africa Leadership Fellowship Program, and it's actually still going on, but now it's operating at a certain regional level, and they've sort of like changed the direction they were going with that program. But we were one of the first fellows who were part of the program. After that, it's pretty much been a roller coaster ride from there. I've been a Moremi fellow. It was a fellowship program given to me with, in partnership with the United Nations Women. I've been recognized amongst 100 women changing her world. I'm a Vital Voices fellow. Where will I start from? I was selected by the Chinese embassy to attend a 3 weeks exchange program. Oh Lord, but it's quite a lot. If you check out my profile on LinkedIn, you can see some of the work that I have done. Just this year, I was also selected to attend the the launch of the Arab African Youth Platform. And not just that, I was also selected out of that group to also fly the Nigerian flag with the president of Egypt. So I have also applied for numerous fellowship programs and I have failed or I have learned extensively. by not being accepted into those programs. So let's say for every 10 fellowship programs I get into, I probably was turned down, I was turned down in 100. So why I'm saying that is for you to realize that I understand that it is not easy. I understand that it is a process. And I understand that it takes a lot of hard work. So the content I'm going to be sharing tonight is, first of all, as a result of my personal experience where I have applied for things and I reviewed my application. There's a particular one, Dinyambe should be aware of this one. I had applied like twice and I didn't get accepted into the program. And then the third time I applied, I got accepted into the program. And I am still on the it's now me that is doing shakara. I don't have time anymore to be a part of that program, But I'm just saying I was able to go back and review my applications and I could see where I made all those mistakes. Sometimes I am bold enough to send an email and ask questions. Sometimes I get a response. Many a times I don't get a response. So when I get a response, I take note of my response. I don't know when I'll find time to dig out all my rejection applications and do a post about it so that you guys realize that the journey is not easy. So this is coming from a place of personal experience. Peniel, the struggle is real. However, we have to keep pushing because it will test. I would always say your vision will test you to see how bad do you want this thing. How bad do you want this thing? It will test you and test you and test you. And then you will be the one to show it. Look, I want this thing so bad. I'm ready to sleep on it. So keep coming. The more you come at me, the more I am prepared to handle you. Awesome, guys. So let's quickly get into tonight's class. Now, the presentation I'm about to share, or the presentation I'm about to teach from, is the presentation for our upcoming webinar, about fellowship programs, how to find them, and how to successfully apply for them. At that webinar, we will be exploring, we will be helping you clarify what sort of applications should you be applying for. So it's a very small class. I am deliberately keeping it very small. This class is not about numbers. This class is about, providing tailor-made solutions to the people who are part of the class. So in that class, we're going to be looking at your vision and your mission, and then what sort of opportunities should you be applying for. If you run a social impact organization, how can you position yourself and your organization to apply for these opportunities? We're going to be clarifying that, and then we're going to be asking ourselves questions. Where can we find these scholarship opportunities or fellowship opportunities? And then how can we put together a strong application so that we can increase our chances of being accepted into the program? Interestingly, people have already started making payment, and as soon as I get to my cutoff number, I will close it off. I'm going to try and put it out on our page as advert and see if any more persons might be interested. But if you're interested, please send me a DM. Awesome. Too much talk. Let's get into it. Okay. You know me now, I always write plenty of things. The very first question. Tell me about yourself. Tell me about yourself. Like I said, I'll be reading off my presentation that I've already started preparing for the class. But my question to you is, if anybody's in the call, how do you think you're supposed to answer that question? If you also want to go live with me, please feel free. Let me know. I'll see if we can go live together, just so that we can have other interesting perspective. So my first question to you would be, how do you think you should respond to this question? Please feel free to leave a message. Tell me about yourself. What do you think the person reading your application wants to find out or wants to read about? It looks like an easy question, right? And some of you may think it's okay for us to talk about, my name is Tayo. I was born in 1966. I was born into a family of 4 children. Hi, do good charity. Thanks for joining. I was born into a family of 2 children. I am the last child in my family. We hail from Ogun State. In Ogun State, my village, that's what I'm asking. If you're on this call, and you want to tell us how do you think you should answer those questions. If you answer this question with the response I just gave, it is already 0.0. When they ask you this question, you need to talk about all you have done in your life that has prepared you for the position or that makes you the best candidate for the role that you are applying for. For example, Ife Oluwa is on this call and we're going to be doing a feature on Ife. And Ife was one of the few people who qualified, not just qualified, he actually won his design, won the application when the African Union called for design requests for one of their education program. Ife put forward his design and his design won. If I'm to ask Ife, let's say it was a written question and answer series, and I'm to ask Ife, tell me about yourself. Oh, hi, Ajake. We're so glad to have you here as well. Thanks for joining. Tell me about yourself. What Ife should be telling me is what makes him the most outstanding candidate for this role. I want to hear if Ife has other design experiences. How long have you been designing? How long have you been designing logos? So let me break it down. You run a social impact organization, or you run for example, Do Good Charity is here, or Eberechi Okoro is here. What they want to hear from you at that point in time is how long have you been doing what you're doing? So how can you respond? See why I always talk about having a clear vision. How can you answer the question about, for example, if I'm to answer this question, tell me about yourself. My name is Chidi Cold Sweat, and I am the founder at Donors for Africa. At Donors for Africa, we work to strengthen the capacity of non-profit or social impact organizations to achieve the SDGs. I have been in the development sector for over 12 years. And this has been my experiences. I have worked in the areas of women and girls' health. I have done this, I have done that. You must keep it focused on all your roles that you have occupied in the past that makes you a certified, it's almost like that makes you the perfect candidate for that role. So if you've been following me or members of our inner circle would have heard me say this a lot of times, you must research what the application you are applying for is about. There are a lot of people, now there are like tons and tons of application out there. So some people are like on application run. I don't even know how to put it. They are constantly applying for things. It is better for you to put forward 3 strong applications than to put forward 30 baseless applications. Recently, someone sent me her application to review, and I went through it and I'm like, is this person joking? Like, is this person joking? How can you send in? They are asking you questions like, tell me about yourself, and you reply, my name is Chidi Cold Sweat. I am from Niger State. I run Donors for Africa. Bam, you go to the next person. Who is chasing you? Do you understand? So when you're answering the question of tell me about yourself, you must talk about everything that you have done in the course of your career that has prepared you or that makes you the best candidate for that particular position. Something else I always say, you must use examples. For example, when I served as a communications manager at Friends of the Global Fund Africa, my role, hi August, thanks for joining. My role involved maybe advocating or engaging other media professionals from the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, from One.org, from African Child Foundation, and we work together to craft messages that promote advocacy around, let's say, HIV/AIDS, TB, and malaria. What I have done with that example is that I have shown you that, number one, I'm not lying. Number two, I am showing you that I have experience working with people from across other continents. So by mentioning One.org, everybody knows if you're tackling any issue of poverty. Hi, Funlola, thanks for joining. Shagu, thanks for joining. Everybody knows that if you're addressing issues around poverty, you must be familiar with the work of One.org. And then I go to the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation. What I'm telling you is that I already work with people who have a certain amount of money. So what you will be impressed already because you can see that this person has a cross-sectoral experience. Some of us will be hiding all the things that we have done because Africa or African mentality has taught us that we should be humble, we should not be proud. You better start blowing your own trumpet because the applications are highly competitive. Let me give you an example. Do you know, for example, if there is a yearly application, now yearly is going to open in October. From Nigeria alone, hi Linda, thanks for joining. From Nigeria alone, Nigeria is going to have 5,000 people apply. Nigeria alone. Other countries put together, the remaining 53 countries, they are going to be only 700. I kid you not. So this is to tell you, by the time you are forming humility in your application, someone else is telling you how she was shaking the hands of the Queen of England. And you are here, you are forming, you are here, you're being humble, you're being, no, let me be humble, I don't want to shine. You better shine. So when they say, tell me about yourself, it is very, 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 very important that you use examples to back up what makes you the best candidate. Why should you be selected? You need to tell us, everything that makes you the best fit for the fellowship application. Let me move on. I don't want to dwell too. I know I have a tendency of overstressing a topic. So let me move on to other things. Number 2 question. What is your greatest weakness? Please, if you are here, if you know the answer to that question, please tell me. What is your greatest weakness? What is your greatest weakness? Some of you, when they ask you this question, what is your greatest weakness? You will not tell them, I can sleep. That is the problem I have. Honesty is good, but too much honesty is not good. Especially when you are applying for these things. Honesty is fantastic. Be honest, be vulnerable. But please, you need to censor your level of honesty. You can't just say, oh, I sleep a lot. I find out that, when we went for prayers, they said that my village people has made me to be... I'm exaggerating, but I guess you understand where I'm coming from. When they ask you questions around your weaknesses, you should always, always, always minimize your weaknesses and emphasize your strengths. I'll take it again. When they ask you questions like, what is your greatest weakness? This is what you should do. And the funniest thing, this tip is also useful if you are, thank you so much, Ajoke. This tip is also very useful if you are applying for jobs. So my information is cutting across. You can apply it to anywhere. When you are responding to questions like, what is your greatest weakness on your fellowship application, minimize your weaknesses. Emphasize your strengths. I'll give you an example. So, Chidi, what is your greatest weakness? I'm always working on improving my communication skills because I would love to be a more effective presenter. I would love to be a more effective communicator. And this is why I recently enrolled for a training on EDX that teaches us how to communicate effectively. I just told you that I'm a lousy communicator, but I didn't say that. Instead, I told you that I am always working on improving my communication skills. So if you observe, I did not tell you, I don't know how to communicate. I didn't say that. Because, look, we all have weaknesses. One of my friends is on this call. Her name is Funlola. She's very good with accounts. Like, if your non-profit need help with looking through your accounts, preparing accounts, what sort of software should you use? How should you prepare your books? Go and meet her. Funlola or Ojo, she's on this call. She will show you. Me, I don't have you don't understand. I don't even want to see the Excel documents. If there's a way they can skip finance, a non-profit, I will skip it. I don't even want to see the Excel sheet at all. But guess what? When I'm responding and I'm telling you about my weakness, I will not tell you I don't know how to use, I don't like financial narratives. I won't say that. Instead, I will tell you we are constantly improving. I am constantly improving my ability to remain analytical, and this is why I'm currently taking a course on how to prepare effective financial narratives. I have answered your question, but I have not really answered your question. I don't know if you understand. I have understood. I responded to your question, but I did not tell you what exactly I am not good at. I've left you to decipher that there is room for improvement in my financial management skills. It's not one of my strongest suit or strongest point. But I did not tell you I am not good at managing my financials. So that is what you should do. You should always think wisely. In fact, there's another one they used to ask. They will say, why who else do you know? Who else can you recommend for this fellowship program? Who else can you recommend? Why are you not the perfect person to be recommended? Anyway, let me not jump. Let me be answering this. Let me be answering all these questions one by one. I don't know if you, oh, thank you so much, guys. Thank you. So when you're talking about your weaknesses, you should elaborate on your strengths. Don't position it as a weakness. Do you understand? Don't position it as a weakness. So, like I said, for me, how I respond to such questions are things like, oh, I'm always working to improve my communication skill, or I'm always working to improve my people management skills, and I'm currently taking a course at EDX to help me become a better manager of my time, or to help me become a better manager, or to have a better understanding of systems and processes and how these things operate and how they can determine the bottom line of my organization. I will tell you my weakness, but I will not say it in your exact words. Awesome. So let me share some tips when responding to that question. Let me share some tips. Tip number 1, show that you are aware of your weakness. And 10, you tell us what you have done to overcome that weakness. So don't just say, I like sleeping. I sleep a lot. I'm still going for deliverance so that they can deliver me from sleeping. I know I'm exaggerating, but you get the idea. Don't do that. Be aware of your weaknesses. And then you tell us immediately what you're doing to overcome that weakness. Number 2, you need to show that you are self-aware. You need to show that you are self-aware. And being aware of your areas of strength and areas of weaknesses. And these are some of the things we'll be teaching in our class, in our fellowship class. How do you do a SWOT analysis on yourself so that you can be aware of your areas of strength and your areas of weaknesses? What are those things that you're very good at? What are those things that you're not very good at? Even as a leader, it would help you. For example, I know the things I'm very good at. I know the things that I can manage, but if I have my way, I won't be doing it. Do you understand? So when you know the things that you're good at, you will focus on those things. And then when you are aware of the things that you're not good at, you can outsource it, or you can find ways to improve that part of your work. And then there's something else people do. So this is very common for people who are searching for a job. They say things like, I'm a perfectionist. I like doing things perfectly. Don't go that route. Don't go that route. Whoever is reading your application can already see that this is a cliche response. And I say it's a cliche response because so many people use that sort of response. I don't know how else to say it. I hope you guys just get it. It's a cliche. Avoid cliche responses. So that's why I say you try to personalize your experience. Tell us your area. Let us see that you are aware of your weaknesses. And then most importantly, you must tell us immediately what you're doing to overcome it. Something else again I want to advise. When you are talking about your weaknesses, please don't talk about anything that can jeopardize your chances of getting the job. So for example, if a key component of getting a fellowship program, like when you look at the eligibility criteria, if a key component of getting it is that you must be, what's the word I'm looking for? You must be, English is failing me. You must be able to get along with people. When you want to talk about a weakness, don't talk about a weakness that involves you constantly quarreling with people or having conflict issues with people. Avoid such weaknesses. I don't know if you guys get my point. So when you are even choosing a weakness to talk about in your application, find a weakness that is not directly connected to the opportunity that you're searching for, because you don't want to shoot yourself in the foot. If you are anti-gay, if you are anti-Christian or Muslim, if you are you prefer your natural hair, you don't like people on weave-ons, whatever it is you are, it is not the best time to explain yourselves. Please keep that part, because one key aspect of fellowship programs is that you must be able to get along with everybody. You must be able to respect people's opinion. You must be able to live conflict free, even if it is not conflict free. How do you address conflict issues? So when you're talking about your weakness, don't come and say, I don't tolerate rubbish. I have a weakness for getting angry. Those things are like do or die weaknesses, because it means if I put you on the program, you will constantly be getting into trouble with members of of the community. I don't know if you understand. So find weaknesses that has nothing, that does not jeopardize your chances of being accepted into the fellowship program. Let me not overemphasize on that as well. Um, Another question I would like to address is, sorry, I told you I have my presentation. So I'm trying to pick the simple one so that I'm saving the remaining 30 for people who pay for our class. Um, Bam, 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 bam. Let me see, which one should I take? Which one should I take? Which one should I take? What is your greatest accomplishment? What is your greatest accomplishment? So this is somehow similar to what is your greatest strength. So basically, okay, let me tell you about what to do when they ask you questions about your strength. When they ask you questions about your strength, that's the great time to show yourself. That's the best time to blow your trumpet. This is the time you want to shine. Mention all the fantastic things that you're doing. And let me say this to you. Nothing is too small. Some people think it's until they have become president of their countries that is what will show that they are making a difference. No. It is not the story that we experience that matters. It is how we tell our stories. And I keep using this logic. Have you not seen people in a 9 to 5 or in a working environment who are not as good as someone else who keeps getting the promotion? But because the guy who keeps getting the promotion has learned how to tell his story, he has learned to communicate, he has learned to effectively tell you, look, I am great at this. You need to buy this property from me. If you buy this property from me, I assure you that you will not, if people who are able to tell their story. So when you are talking about your strength, please, you want to be able to shine. I'm not saying you should be arrogant. I'm just telling you should be bold enough to blow your trumpet. Um, Talk to me about how you are a fantastic motivator, how you motivate members of your team. Talk to me about how you are a problem solver, how you constantly solve problems. Give examples of the problems that you have solved. For example, there has always been an issue within your organization when it's time to go for leave. The process of leave application is cumbersome. So you came up with this app, or you came up with this suggestion that they should, adopt a HR system that allows everybody to go online and book their leaves. And when you go online, is whoever books a date. It's just like Calendly. Whoever books a date, you have to schedule another date. And then online, you will see the approval of your line manager. I'm just saying, when you tell things that you have done, for example, you're a fantastic motivator, you're a problem solver, you perform, you you keep pressing on in your campaign, irrespective of the fact that you have no funding. Let us know. Give us examples. I remember when we needed funds. This is if the number of words allow you, though. I remember when we applied for funding and we did not receive the funding of a private organization. It did not dampen our whatever. We went on to raise money from individuals. People donated we started a funding drive, and people donated 1,000 naira each, and we were still able to achieve our objective. It just taught me to think outside the box. I don't know if you understand where I'm going to. You should be able to express your strength. You need to think deeply. So now you can see why self-awareness is directly related to the quality of your application. If you are not self-aware, you will not be able to put forward a strong application. If you work in a 9 to 5 and you're not keeping track of the impact that you're making, if you currently volunteer and you're not keeping track of the impact that you're making as a volunteer, what story will you sell in your application? If you don't commit to maybe someone else's vision, it doesn't have to be your vision. What will you sell in your application? Do you understand? It's very, very, very important. very, very important that when you're talking about your strengths, you want to highlight all the things that you do very well. Talk about taking initiative, talk about paying attention to details and how you paid attention to detail, and maybe you were about to put forward a budget, and when you put forward the budget you now observed that there was a mistake. Maybe it was supposed to be $10,000 and you noticed that they actually added an extra zero and it was $100,000. That tell us about your greatest strength, and something. These are some very important points to look out for. Questions like what makes you an ideal candidate. This one is even when you are going for normal interview. They always ask these questions. It is similar to your strength. Hi, Pitchcroft, thanks for joining. It is similar to your strength. You need to show us. You need to show us. I'm trying to see, if I Oh, I think I've already shared that. What makes you an ideal candidate? Focus, emphasize on your strengths. Emphasize on your strengths, guys. Emphasize on your strengths. It's pretty much similar to, so the ideal candidate, the only difference when responding to what makes you an ideal candidate is this. Go to the application itself. What are the key things said and unsaid that they are looking for? How have you exemplified those attributes in your day-to-day life? Talk about it. So, if they're looking for someone that has a clear sense of purpose, you want to tell us a story of how you have a clear sense of purpose. If they're looking for someone that has done work with very rural communities around HIV and AIDS or around period poverty, you want to talk about some of the projects that you have handled that has to do with period poverty, HIV and AIDS. You must connect the things that make you an ideal candidate are the things they are looking for in the fellowship program. So when you're writing, you must highlight all those attributes that you possess. Do you understand? All those attributes you possess that they are looking for. Look for them in all the different roles you have occupied and talk about it. I don't know if you guys have any questions. I don't know if you guys understand where I'm going with this. If you have any questions, please feel free to draw my attention to it. Any questions? How do you answer questions of what is your greatest accomplishment? What is your greatest accomplishment? What is your greatest accomplishment? So this is very similar to what is your greatest strength. You want to pick accomplishments that show that you have the qualities that the organizations are looking for. If you look, you can see that they are all connected. You want to show, for example, what impact has the organization made? So this is where most of the things I preach come into play. Evaluation, information gathering. Do you have information on the impact of your project and programs? How many people have your classes impacted? How do you measure that impact? What's your success stories? How many programs have you implemented over a period of 1 year? How many classes have you run over a period of 1 year? How many people participated in the classes? It may be 4 today, but 4 plus 4 plus 4 plus 4 times 12. That is how many. So you want to be able to capture data so that your data can be relevant in talking about your greatest accomplishments. Pick the one accomplishment that has the most impact on your work. Pick the one accomplishment that has the most impact on your work. For example, if one of your biggest accomplishments is helping an organization to raise $100,000, you want to talk about it. Do you get? You want to talk about it in your application. So pick from one application, or rather pick the one that will make you, that made the most impact in your journey. Let me give you a bit of tips. Hi, Miriam, thanks for joining. Bimba Deswa, thanks for joining. Pitchcroft, thanks for joining. So here are some tips. It's okay, I understand. So here are some tips. Winford Center, thanks for joining. You've not traveled. So here are some tips on how to answer the question, what is your greatest accomplishment? Talk about an accomplishment that exhibits or shows how you're a perfect fit for the role. That's like the very first tip I'm going to give you when answering that question. Then you need to show genuine passion. You need to show genuine passion. Oh my God. I feel like digging out one of my applications. You need to show genuine passion. Let me read out something for you. I'm not snitching on this person, so I'm not going to call the person's name. I'm just trying to show you how the way you write can affect somebody's mood. You are applying for something as highly competitive as a fellowship program, and then you are sounding as if they are begging you to apply. I'm coming, please. I'm coming. I want to show you exactly what I mean. And then they ask you questions like, sorry, 1 minute. How long have you been working in your current, no, let's say, what issues of poverty or injustice are you tackling? We are tackling the issue of skilled help for production, full stop. Or, let me give you another example. Describe your primary work, project, or responsibilities in this role. I come up with designs, or I come up with creatives, or I come up with the ideas needed to implement the work. What ideas? So when you write, you need to, when you're talking about your greatest accomplishment, please sound excited. I'm telling you, people can read. I don't know how. Have you ever read a story, and the story was so immersive. It felt like you were a part of the person's life. Your choice of words matter. I'm not saying you should be like a grammatical guru, but your choice of words matter. Expand your vocabulary. I keep telling you, I go to thesaurus and I look for how else can I say excited. I go to thesaurus and you would find like 15 other words that you can use for excited. Those things make your application very rich. You need to use words that will provoke people's emotions. Let me see if I can find one for you guys. You know me, I just like going into too much details. That's why I'm just so excited for those who will pay for this fellowship class, because I'm doing blood and sweat. Like, I will give it my all, my everything, because that's me. I don't do half. I am always extreme. I give too hard. I love too hard. I do everything to the extreme. So I want to show you guys. I want to read a story for you guys. Please feel free to throw in your questions now. Please feel free to throw in your questions. I want to talk about provoking emotions. Okay, so I was asked a question in one of my applications. Learning from your mistakes is a part of being a professional development or being a leader. Can you describe a specific instance when you made a mistake or how you encountered a setback that helped you to grow as a leader? I said, on August, blah, 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 I designed my very first online grant training program. Over 100 grassroots organizations from across Africa registered to attend. However, on the day of the training, only 20 organizations showed up. I was distraught, disappointed, felt like my expectations were completely, what did I write here? I had great expectations, but irrespective, I decided to teach the 2-hour session passionately, as if I was teaching the 100, and the positive feedback was amazing. What am I trying to show you? I've shown you quantity. Thank you, Ife, for noticing it. I've showed you the number of nonprofits I was about to train. I gave you a date of the event. I told you how I felt when the particular training did not go like I had anticipated. If you were reading my application, you can see that I was distraught. Immediately in your mind, you'll be like, oh, you can picture some girl wailing, she was distraught, she was broken, she was disappointed, but she decided to. I'm just telling this story in my head, but I want you to realize that when people read, they read it like a story. So if you don't write like you're writing a story, people will just read through it and they are done and they move on to the next thing. But if you paint a picture in the mind of the person who is reading your story, for example, there was an application we helped somebody to put together, and they were asking her why she decided to um, pick the issue of financial inclusion as her area of focus or as her area of interest. Do you know what this girl wrote? She said, let me look for the application because we were the ones that worked on it. So let me look for it. 1 minute. I have all my applications. Oh, great. Another feedback I want to give you. If you're on this call and you don't save your applications, you need help. Please, whenever you're preparing an application, always copy out the questions and answers and respond to them on a Word document. Then when you're ready to turn in your application, you copy and paste and you send off. Number one, it helps you go through your application process in a detailed manner. You don't get to lose. I don't know if anybody here has ever applied for something. When you're about to click submit, you just see everything you have typed will just disappear. You won't even know where to start. It takes a different level of strength for you to even come back to that application again, because you would feel like, oh my God, the first one I did was a lot better. Anyway, let me read the girl's story for you. So the question is, why did she decide to pursue financial inclusion as, the work she's doing? She said, I was born in the northern part. I'm going to make it a very short read, but basically, I was born in the northern part of the country, and I watched every morning at 3 a.m. as my mother got up, blended beans. I'm trying to read as I'm. Hi, Kelly Hex, thanks for joining. And I watched every day at 3 a.m. as my mother got up, blended beans, and stood by the roadside to fry snacks that early workers can. I'm trying to rush through this. To fry snacks that early workers can eat on their way to work. My mother did this for 25 years, and from her paltry income, she was able to send myself and 4 other siblings to the university. Then she said, when I graduated, I came home and found, and sorry, I'm reading from my book, so it's a bit slow. I came home and found out that we were kicked out of our apartment because my mom had invested most of our resources in training us in school and none in saving for tomorrow. I am already crying. Me, I am crying because I can picture her mother waking up in the morning. I can picture her mother frying bean cake by 3 a.m. in the middle of at the bus stop. I can picture the mother sweating and straining to send them to school. Hi, Kelly, thanks for joining. Sweating and stressing to send them to school. I can picture her mother. I can picture her coming back from university and meeting their things outside because the mother never saved enough resources. The mother basically did not save. So because she did not save, they were kicked out of the house after all that suffering. I don't know if you understand where I'm coming from. When you respond to questions like that about your greatest accomplishment, and then of course you go on to tell us how even after that sad story, you were still able to probably sponsor yourself to a private institution, and now you own 3 degrees, you do this, you do this, you do that. That is your greatest accomplishment. See, I am not in the application room, but if it is me, I'll be like, oh my God. After crying, I'll start clapping for that person because you were able to provoke an emotion. You were able to provoke an emotion. Let your application provoke an emotion. Don't write without heart. So things that can help you, this is a completely different class. Things that can help you write emotionally is the choice of language that you use. Pick languages. August, don't worry, I'll save it. You need to pick languages that can convey all of your experiences. Let me move. I feel like we're really, really behind schedule. Something else I really, really wanted to point out. Don't fall into the trap of thinking that your accomplishment is too small. Somebody has 15 years, you have only 2 years. My sister and my brother, you are doing phenomenal work. How can you sell your 2 years experience? I'm sure you know it is not about the number of years of experience or the number of, it is how can you tell your story. I was going to tell a story now, but I think I will let that story be for now. Basically, no accomplishment is too small. Any story that you are, any accomplishment that you are selling online is as important as you paint it to be. Let me tell you something about the Obama Fellowship Program. When I applied for the program, I knew I was not going to get into the program. But you know, it's all this case of let me just give it a shot. You never can tell. How did I know I was not going to get into the program? No, it's not. It's not a bad emotion or negative prophesying. No, it's not negative prophesying. I knew what they were looking for, and I had passed the level of what they were looking for. Let me tell you what they were looking for, and let me tell you what they were looking for, and I'll tell you how I knew what they were looking for. They were looking for people who had never accessed a global opportunity before. I've accessed a lot. I'm not going to lie because I'm writing an application. They were looking for people who were new to development. They were looking for people who, even if you were not new, you've basically not gotten any major life-changing experience from your time, in that particular role. So, how did I know? I researched. I was reading press releases as far back as 2014 or 2015, if I'm not wrong. I basically went to search for press releases. And that's how you find information about your fellowship programs. I went back to who were the first cohorts. I read the profiles of each of these cohorts. You see why I say to you that when you are applying for fellowship, it's not something you do in a hurry. If you do it in a hurry, you will get in a hurry results. If you do it in a hurry, your result will be in a hurry. Awesome. So what I did was I went to read all the press releases, and there was something that remained consistent 2018, 2018, 17, 16, 15. Something was consistent. They were looking for people who had never accessed this opportunity before. So somewhere in my heart, I knew that, Chidi, you are overqualified for this thing. But let me apply because maybe the sun will smile on me on that particular day. When I went back to read the profile of the people who got accepted into that program, I can count how many of them had accessed global opportunities in the past, and then I can also rate the quality of those people. So please, don't fall into a trap of thinking that your accomplishment is small. There is nothing that you accomplish in development that is small, irrespective of the number of years. It could be only one training that you implemented. As long as you can tell us the story of how that one training impacted the life of people in your community. I need to run. I think I am really, really, I've spent so much time talking about a few things. You must show your openness to diversity. I had mentioned it. You must show your openness to diversity. Please, if you don't like Muslims, if you don't like Christians, if you don't like people who are, what is it called? The LGBTQ community, lesbians, gays, heterosexuals, queers, if you don't like them, please don't apply. Or don't tell us that you don't like them in your application. Because diversity, acceptance is such a major part of every fellowship program. So when you answer, so you must, in your application, you must show that you're very accepting. In fact, some interviews will ask you directly, what are your views on people living with HIV/AIDS? What are your views on lesbians and gay guys and gay girls? What are your views? If you know you don't know how to interact with all those people, please just don't even bother. Don't even bother responding. I don't know if you understand me. So you must always show that you are open to diversity. This has nothing to do with your Christian faith or your belief, either as a Christian or as a Muslim. No. It has absolutely nothing to do with that. You must just show that you are accepting of other people's ideas, because you're going to be going into a program that has tons and tons and tons of people from all walks of life. Let me give you guys gist. I remember when I went in 2016, I went to South Africa, and I was doing a couple of stuff. One of them included recording some of the experiences of people living with HIV and AIDS, and working on. I was a communications manager, so I was doing a lot of like interviews and stuff, And there was a gay on the day of the CASA conference. There was a gay, not a gay parade, like a beauty contest. Yes, there was a beauty contest of people from the gay community. That was my very first experience in South Africa. Like, I've been hearing about it, I've been reading about it, but I've not had that sort of experience. That was my first experience. And I had to interview them. I had to ask them questions. I had to be like, go girl. I had to be all that. Look, what I felt about those issues did not matter. So when you are highlighting, or when you are applying for these things, you must show that you are very, very accepting of other people's thoughts, other people's ideas, other people's religion, other people's lifestyles. You must show that you are very accepting. Let me move forward. Let's see. Tell us. Let me see which of the questions. Which of the questions? Which of the questions? Have you had conflict, or have you been in a situation where your idea has not been accepted? How did you deal with that situation? Like I said earlier on, don't go and tell them how you beat your boss. I beat my boss to the point where we were arrested and we take it to panty. Like, I'm exaggerating, don't mind me. But you get my drift. When you want to talk about conflict, so for example, I have one interview here that I wrote about conflict, and I said, yes, I've been in a room where I had a very strong opinion about, and of course you have to make it something intelligent, and I said, I strongly believe that, and I wasn't afraid to air my view in this Chinese conference. Anybody who knows me know that I speak my mind. And I said, look, I honestly think there's too much, there's a, what's the word? There is a falsehood behind the quality of products. Why do you guys send us products in Africa that are like way below standards? But you're the same person who design or produces products for people in different parts of the world, in America, in Australia, in New Zealand. A lot of these items are produced in China. So why is it that when those items are brought to Nigeria or Africa, they are extremely substandard, and then when they are sent to other parts of the world, they are of a very high quality? So my opinion was that I think it is, yes, they brought us here for this cultural exchange, but I would like to hear their thoughts on that particular issue. And I'm so glad I put it forward in a very non-fighting way. I just expressed my thoughts, and I'm like, I'm really open to them educating me. And guess what? I was well educated. They told me it is our Nigerian manufacturers that go there and determine what sort of standard their goods and services should be produced at. If you go to China, if you want them to give you $1 for, what is $1? 1 naira per pen. They will produce 1 naira per pen for you. But you cannot compare the pen of 1 naira and the pen of $20. You can never, ever, ever compare. So it is the Nigerian producers and manufacturers that go there and tell them what they want. So it's a conflicting situation that I was in. But you want to be able to show that while it was a conflicting situation, it was also an opportunity for you to learn. So when you are answering that sort of question, be open enough to say, yes, this was the situation. However, I learned from this situation that it is very important to always listen to the other side of the story. It's very important. I have to now buttress my point with like powerful information. And I'm like, so what I learned that day, let me open the application, please. Let's not seem as if I'm just talking on the top of my head. While I shared my views passionately, I was educated to learn that Africans demand a different quality when manufacturing. And from a business perspective, it is important to diversify your product offering in order to meet the needs of your different clientele. I learned the value of speaking up if you're uncertain about an information, but most importantly, listening to understand the shared perspective during an argument. Arguments and conflicts should will I said arguments and conflicts will happen, but they should be held intelligently with view to always learn from another person's perspective. That was my view on how to deal with conflict situations. So I can as well go and say, if they insult your father, you know what you should do? Bring out every member of their generation and kill all of them. Even if it is what I think, keep it to yourself. So you need to find a response that is befitting. So even while you share your weaknesses, while you share the reasons for the conflict, you want to quickly tell us what were the lessons learned from that particular conflict. What did you learn from it? And how so it's almost like I gave them two lessons. I said, number one, never believe everything that you read. Look at what I learned, look at what I learned. And at the end of the day, it shows that you know how to manage conflicts. Oh my gosh. Please, you guys, if you have any questions, please ask me. I'm trying to really run through this. You know, let me search for more questions. Hi, Leki Paleza. Thanks for joining. When they ask you questions about being a team player, you want to say, I've had opportunities. You need to show examples or cite examples where you worked actively in a team. For example, in my school, in athletics, in developing my skill set. You want to show me how you are a team player. Maybe you're part of a conference. Maybe you're Sukri's hair. Thanks for joining. I'm so sorry if I spelled that wrongly. Please forgive me. You want to show how you want to give examples of how you are a team player, or maybe you were a plan committee and you had come with this idea that you had thought was fantastic, but other members of the committee didn't think it was such a great idea. However, you led the implementation of this other idea that came from someone else. So it shows that the ideas must not come from you. They can come from a third party, but I must be strong or willing enough to pursue. You want to show that, you want to cite examples that highlight your team spirit. You also want to give behavioral examples, focus on your openness to diversity and background, talk about your strengths as an individual, talk about the success stories you have helped your organization achieve because of teamwork. So that's how you answer questions around teamwork. Please, guys, if you have any questions, let me see. Let me just take one more question. I'm trying to find one more question that is so important. What have you done in the past few months to improve your knowledge? I think I've talked about conflict. What have you done in the past few months to improve your knowledge? You really want to speak about the things. Let me see if I have how I wrote this out in my presentation. What have you done in the past few years but you basically want to talk about what you're doing to develop yourself. So even if you have not you've not gone to school recently, maybe you don't have a BA or a MA or a PhD, what online programs are you taking? EDX platform is free, guys. Like, I don't want to hear any excuses. There are too many. In fact, I think there's too much information now. Anything you want to do, anything you are good at, you can be great at it because the information is available at our disposal. So you want to always show that you're improving yourself constantly. You want to talk about all the different programs that you're taking, all the different classes that you're teaching. You want to talk about the things that you're doing to improve yourself. I would like to stop here for now. Once again, let me quickly talk about, I think I did 10. I have about 60 something questions, and I'll be going through all those questions with people who pay for our webinar on how to about fellowship programs, how to identify the fellowship program that's right for you, how to put forward a strong application. We'll be using a lot of case studies. We'll be dissecting what your response should be. We'll be helping you identify the fellowship programs that are unique to your needs so that you don't join this crowd and anything you see, you apply. The one that said they're taking you to America, you will run and go and apply for that one. Meanwhile, the one that you really need is probably an indigenous application that can improve your chances of gaining access into an arena you never ever dreamt of gaining access to. So if you're not clear about your goals, if you're not clear about your vision, why you're doing the things that you're doing, how will you be able to identify the right fellowship programs that is right for you, or the right grants programs that is right for you and your organization? So part of what we are doing in our own class, I'm not just hosting a class and coming to tell you what everybody else is doing. That's why I'm keeping the class extremely small. I want to be able to, address this issue for each and every person. Hi, Chika, thanks for joining. Brain and Spine Foundation. I want to be able to address this issue for each and everybody who will be present in that class. It's extremely affordable. It was made affordable for a deliberate reason, because that's just how I feel about it at this time. It was made affordable for a very good reason. So if you're looking for that personalized understanding of why you should apply for fellowship programs, how to apply for fellowship programs, how to find the applications that are right for you, what to do to prepare, what do you need to do to start preparing for potential fellowship programs, then send me a DM. We'll be happy to have that conversation. We'll be happy to show you the ropes. We'll be happy to teach you. We'll be happy to, recommend you. If you want to share this with other members, your friends, and please feel free to let them know. So this is our class for tonight. If you have any questions, please let me know. I think our class will soon end. If you have any questions, please let me know in the comment section. What are your thoughts about the class? Was this class useful to you? What else would you like us to talk about in the future when it comes to fellowship programs? Whatever the comment it is that you have, please feel free to let me know. Thank you guys so much for always showing up for our classes. I'm just buying some time. I'm going to leave the replay up for those of you who joined late and you find this class interesting enough to want to listen to the full class. I encourage you to listen to the full class. Oh, Aisha, you're still here. I wasn't sure. I encourage you to listen to the full class if you can. If you want to be a part of that, please feel free to send us a message and we'll definitely respond. Thank you guys so much. Thank you so much, August. Thank you so much, Penya. Thank you, Lua. Thank you. Oh, my darling, I can't remember her name. I have to go back. I must remember her name, please. I must remember her name. Thank you so much for joining tonight's class. Oh my gosh. Ajoke, thank you so much for being a part of the class. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, every single person, for being a part of this class. I don't take it for granted. I just took a selfie anyway. I don't take it for granted. Thank you all so much. I'm glad you found it useful. Please send out messages to your friends and loved ones. Tell them about the fellowship training that we are having. I am reluctant about announcing it publicly because, like I said, I want to keep it small. But I will consider announcing it publicly and, giving people benefit of doubt to be a part of the program. Thank you guys so much. Thank you all so much. Have a good evening. I'm going to save this so that the replay is available to anyone who wants to catch the replay. Thank you, August. Thank you, everyone who joined class today. It was totally fun. Yay. Thank you. And then please, I will also show you how to deal with rejection. Trust me, they've rejected me a lot. I will show you how to deal with rejection. Thank you guys so much, guys. Bye. Have a good evening. Bye, guys. So I'm going to save this. Any question at all? Does anyone have a question? I want to quickly end the class and save it. Bye. Thank you.